First-person shooter. A genre that rose from the ashes of gaming's two-dimensional arcade past. A genre that brought unprecedented levels of immersion and innovation into the art of interactive storytelling. A genre that once ruled the world and defined an entire generation of gamers. But every single one of those games that you often think of when you think FPS, your Half-Lives, your Counter-Strikes, your Calls of Duty, every one of those games shares its DNA with this game, Doom.
Oh, and like Julie and I, we have a lot in common because we're both paleontologists, right? But I mean, Rachel's just a waitress.
Waitress. Got it. You guys want to play Doom? Or we can keep doing this.
Released in 1993 by id Software, Doom was a revolutionary game. It pioneered so many of the things that we take for granted today, like 3D graphics, online multiplayer gaming, and mod support. You can't imagine PC gaming without those three things today. And Doom did all of those back in 1993. This game was a sensation, and back in 1995 it was estimated to be installed on more computers than Windows 95. Imagine that. Imagine any game today being installed more than Windows. There's even an unearthed video that someone dug up a while ago of Bill Gates standing in front of Doom footage, trying to promote his operating system. Doom was big.
These games are getting really realistic. Next year I might even play in the big Doom tournament.
Sure, Bill. Sure.
Don't interrupt me.
Today, classic Doom still enjoys an incredibly strong cult following, and it is widely considered to be one of the greatest games in history. I don't think you should play it. Let me explain. First off, Doom in the state that it's being sold on GOG or Steam is a living nightmare. It's the most authentic experience of Doom you can have on a modern operating system, but it isn't a good experience. I'm sorry, but between the OPL3 music, the weird resolution, and the hard 35 FPS cap, nah man, I'm not dealing with that. Luckily the community has our back, and I'll be using the GZ Doom source port with the FOV cranked to 110 in 1080p and with mouse look turned on. This is how I normally play Doom. Anyway, enough bullshit. How's the game? You spawn, gun in hand, banging rock music playing in your ear, and no other way to go but forward. You get the armor, shoot the demons, exit the level, that can be it. But Doom also rewards players who do a little bit of searching. Doom is filled with secrets, and they can help you by giving supplies or being shortcuts to later parts of the level. I don't know all of them. In fact, I don't know most of them. So excuse me if I complain about a level that could have been done easier with a secret. In E1M2, that's how I'm going to be referring to these now, Episode 1, Map 2, got it? So in E1M2, Nuclear Plant, Doom introduces its most prominent level design philosophy, non-linearity, or in layman's terms, backtracking. This game has backtracking up the ass. In this map, you have a door you can go through and another door that says you need a red key to open this door. Simple enough, you just go through the openable door, go up the stairs, get the key card, go down the stairs, get to the door. Simple enough, right? Well, it gets a whole lot worse. E1M3 ain't a bad map, but it has one moment that has cemented itself into gaming history. The infamous Blue Key Trap. Probably many gamers' first experience with a video game jump scare, while it's extremely tame nowadays compared to back in '93, this kind of claustrophobic, horror-inspired atmosphere was unprecedented. Doom is known for taking a lot of its inspiration from the 80s. Now, I don't know anything about the 80s, but at least from what I've read, the game is heavily inspired by the Satanic Panic era.
There's two different communities that use this park. One is the pagan or occultic community, and the other community is, of course, the homosexual community. Upon entering the park, I mean, you can see they've already got started.
I began to look through the instruction manual, and I see here how to cast magical spells, and mage spells, and cleric spells. And then here it says, it is important to remember that the source of all magic is the life force of the user. This is the teaching of the occult.
So, it was just a matter of time before a game made to portray hell and Satan himself was created. Added to that was the rise of B-movie horror, with the most significant to Doom being the Evil Dead series. A special mention also has to be made to Doom's soundtrack. Composed by Bobby Prince, they might as well be the most badass midis ever created. Just listen to these. I think it's about time I introduce our star-studded cast of enemies so far. Zombie men. Former humans who fire at you with hit scan and drop pistol bullets. Basically non-threats and can be killed with harsh language. Shotgunners. Zombie men who fire a hit scan shotgun blast at you, dealing higher damage. Low threat in small numbers, can be extremely dangerous in higher quantities. Imps. Demons who shoot slow-moving fireballs that can be dodged and will scratch you if they get up close. Not that dangerous, treat with an ample dose of shotgun. Pinkies. Walking pink flesh walls that charge at you in a zigzag for a melee attack. Use the shotgun. Spectres. Dark, transparent pinkies that try to catch you in the dark. Shotgun. You can probably notice a pattern. The shotgun is the main workhorse of Doom 1, and it gets the job done. It's probably not the first video game shotgun, but it's certainly one of the most significant. It gets overshadowed by its big brother, the Super Shotgun. But this one is pretty good too. Satisfying firing sound with a solid rhythm, and deals just enough damage to make you miss its brother. While we're at it, the pistol sucks, don't use it. The chain gun is like the pistol but faster, useful for stun locking and mowing down large waves of low tier enemies. More enemies and weapons will be introduced as we go on. For now, let's continue. E1M4 is a fine map, not one you'd clamor to play again though. This claustrophobic maze near the end is a real ass. A lot of Doom 1 really didn't know how to take advantage of the player's mile-a-minute movement, cause all they had was the hallway designs of Wolfenstein maps as reference. Oh well. E1M5 has this. Jesus fuck. I know for damn sure this would have scared the pants off some kid back in the day, and it still is pretty creepy, if not overshadowed by how annoying it is to play. Still, these dynamic lighting effects are pretty impressive, especially for 93. Central processing. Now this is more like it. Big ass level containing 118 monsters, the most out of the entirety of Doom 1. This map's particularly well known for locking you into rooms with monsters while locking the exit door, requiring the player's ability to deal with the horde and prioritize targets in a large space. Took me around 9 minutes to beat this thing. The highlight of episode 1 for sure. Computer Station is also good. Other people seem to like this map more than I do, but I see it as inferior to Central Processing. I would have switched the two personally, as I think it would have made a better lead up to this. Phobos Anomaly, the boss level and ending for episode 1. You're given a huge amount of supplies and some cannon fodder pinkies that pose no threat, and then you meet these guys, Barons of Hell. Big muscular goat things that throw projectiles and scratch you. They're tanky as hell, sure, but as a boss fight? That was it. That was the boss fight. 7.6 seconds. Jesus Christ, that is pathetic. I had more trouble just playing through Central Processing than beating this boss. Whatever, I beat him, click on the staircase, and once you beat the big badasses and clean out the moon base, you're supposed to win, aren't you? Aren't you? Where's your fat reward and ticket home? What the hell is this? It's not supposed to end this way. It stinks like rotten meat, but looks like the lost Demos base. Looks like you're stuck on the shores of hell. The only way out is through. To continue the Doom experience, play The Shores of Hell and its amazing sequel. Knee Deep in the Dead is often considered the best episode of Doom 1, and I can see why. The maps are well paced and bite-sized, have consistent action, and show off well the capabilities of this new engine. So understandably, this episode was included in the shareware version of Doom. Quick interjection, shareware is essentially the same model of free trial or demo version that we have today. Essentially a limited version of the full product for you to try, and then you're encouraged to buy the full version later. This freely distributed shareware version of the game was a huge reason why it was installed on 20 million plus computers and helped tremendously in generating word of mouth about the game. But when John Carmack was talking about why Doom 2 never had a shareware release, he stated, "A lot of people considered themselves to have finished Doom when they just finished the shareware episode." So, how good are the other ones? John Romero is, to this day, renowned as a level designer, and he designed most of the maps in Episode 1 along with Tom Hall. Tom Hall was a founding member of id, having joined the team back when Carmack and Romero were still slaving under soft disk. He contributed to every game id made before Doom, so it's safe to say he was a big deal in the team. But unlike the others at id, he didn't like the direction of Wolfenstein 3D, which lacked any sort of substantial storyline besides shoot fascists with gun. Hall wanted Doom to be vastly different from what it became, creating a whole design document called the Doom Bible, drawing up a more complex sci-fi horror concept with multiple characters. John Carmack rejected this idea outright, saying the now famous quote,
"Story in a game is like story in a porn movie." It's expected to be there, but it's not that important.
You can probably guess the fate of Tom Hall and the company after that, and in his place was a 37-year-old Christian game designer who only had experience in making board games and video games that might as well be board games. 10 weeks before the game was released. Hallowed be his name, Sandy Peterson. Sandy made 20 out of the 27 maps in Doom 1, including the boss map that you saw just a bit ago, and he had a different design ethos compared to Romero, as opposed to Romero's more combat-centric, straightforward design. In his words, my levels were often not very attractive, but they're often very striking. They would do things with gameplay that hadn't been done before. E2M1, Deimos Anomaly. Nice introductory map. Not too complex, has the big red upside down cross to show that, yeah, we're in hell, man. Also, our introduction to the plasma gun. A full auto energy rifle that deals great damage, with the compromise being that it shoots projectiles so you have to count for travel distance, and that ammo for it is relatively rare. Top tier gun, highly recommended. Oh yeah, almost forgot. Our first introduction to the Cacodemon. A large wad of meat that shoots slow projectiles and have a biting attack when up close. Not too dangerous, far more troublesome in packs. E2M2. This is what I'd say is the first true Sandy map of the game. It's large, mazy, and often requiring backtracking to find where to go, but it's very recognizable with its crate maze and these things going up and down, and what I assume are the first crushers in the entire game. Also, what the fuck are these blue things that hurt me? Stoves? Not that great of a map, I'll say. And I still can't remember the exit route despite playing the map 4 or 5 times already. Also, cool trick, just straight front over this part near the exit, right there. E2M3 is a nice map, far higher ceilings than episode 1 ever had, which really helps my claustrophobia, and it uses the level completion music for some reason. Way too much running over poison liquid for my taste. And oh boy, here it is again, our good friend Close Quarters Maze in the Dark, making its second appearance, and being just as assholic as ever. I still don't like these sections, and I don't think I ever will. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to put this into perspective. This is the world record speedrun for E2M4. So, fast, right? Yeah, very, very fast. It's a speed run. Here's mine. So what the fuck happened? I'll tell you what happened. This map is filled with red herrings. This map and armor at the start? Superfluous. This whole room with armor and ammo that locks you into it? Optional. This whole spot with the poison floor and also the lava floor and the monster closets? Unnecessary. This whole elaborate area above radioactive liquid that provides an anti-rat suit to deal with it and also berserk pack? Jack shit! These monster closets with imps inside of them? Useless! When you click the buttons inside of them, it just lowers the platform to go back to the spots you've already been to. But you think that it's necessary because why else would you place buttons that activate things behind a monster fight? Why? You just go up a slow-ass staircase, stand on top of the platform thing, then the teleporter opens, and you can leave. That, or take this secret. You reach the spot with the scrolling faces, you kill the pinky, and are met by this. A damaging floor, exit door, but no way to reach it, and 2 teleporters. Taking one of the teleports puts you back in this room that you just left. So surely it means that this room contains a solution, right? Why would it teleport you to this room if the solution was the one with the liquid, right? I search the entire map thinking that this was the case. The whole thing. I find nothing. No switch I missed, no area I hadn't visited. So the solution must be in that little green room. But I already have been in this room many times, and it just kicks me out when I use both teleports. What else? Oh, I missed this. This button. This button placed perpendicular to the teleport that I didn't know was there because I took the wrong one once, didn't notice again because I was taking damage, and a third time because I went to the wrong side again. That switch is the key to the exit. Wow. I thought I was insane when I saw the speedrun. I didn't know whether or not I was alone in getting really, really lost in this map. So I looked up a blind playthrough on YouTube and saw that Dead Meat also put 20 minutes into this level. But this guy has less experience than me, and I don't think he even has auto run turned on. And I've been playing Doom for years, and it still took me longer than he did. Maybe I do have dementia. Command Center was a far easier map for me. The first one to have greenery and the concept of a semi-convincing outdoors segment. The fights in this map and episode 2 in general are far more liberal with monster placement, but it slowly reveals a very big problem with Doom 1 in general. There just aren't enough enemies. I see this as a big deterrent, and one of the main reasons why I exclusively played Doom 2 and its mods. The 7 additional enemies and extra weapon added huge depth to the game, allowing for far more unique and varied situations the level designer can put you in. It's like comparing Mario 1 and Mario 3. It makes that much of a difference. What Doom 1 does have though, is Lost Souls. Lost Souls are the worst enemies in Doom 1, next to the Cacodemon, bar none. They shoot themselves at your face, often come in packs, and have more health than they should. They're like Doom's version of acne, and similar to acne, I want them the fuck out of my face! I don't have a good segue for this one. E2M6, Halls of the Damned, is a slog. It just is. True to its title, it's a bunch of confusing, long corridors with way too many pinkies. It's all close-range combat in these tight, claustrophobic environments that don't feel good to play. I took longer than I did because I didn't use the map that the game helpfully provides. That was on me, sure, but this section in particular really could have been improved so that I can explore it intuitively without having to use the map, which is, usually what good game design is. This map was the first map that Sandy Peterson designed, and it shows. There is amateurism written all over it. I guess it does have this cool fake exit trick that it pulls on you. I guess that's kind of nice. E2M7 is fine, contains an abundance of damaging floors, even in areas that I don't even understand, like the middle part of these hallways that damage you for some reason. Whoops. Broadcast interrupted. You're being interrupted by an actually interesting map. Because it has a cyber demon in it. The Cyber Demon. A giant minotaur beast of equal parts satanic and cybernetic. This big guy shoots rockets at you in volleys of 3, and they deal just as much damage as your own rockets. This arena that Doom 1 provides doesn't starve you of cover, so this fight is relatively painless if you can hide behind walls and take pot shots. But if you happen to meet a cyber demon in a scenario where the arena is more open, learn to dodge its rockets by strafing, and also focusing fire on it by circle strafing, which is strafing but in a circle. Overall, a great boss fight for an iconic enemy. One might think, if the cyber demon is already this badass, the final boss must be even badasser. We'll get there. Real classy reading colors, guys. You've done it. The hideous cyber demon lord that ruled the lost Deimos moonbase has been slain, and you are triumphant. But, where are you? You clamber to the edge of the moon and look down to see the awful truth. Deimos floats above hell itself. You've never heard of anyone escaping from hell, but you'll make the bastards sorry they ever heard of you. Quickly, you rappel down to the surface of hell. And now, it's on to the final chapter of Doom. Inferno. You repel from that. Inferno is famously the worst chapter of Doom, but not for a lack of trying. This idea of a hellish, abstract environment that doesn't abide by any conventions of earthly architecture is unique and can be utterly incredible if done correctly. But since this is a video game, it still has to follow the conventions of level design. And by God, these levels are bad. Hellkeep has the fleshy textures and the clickable eye, revealing this excellent red and black skybox, showing that yes, Doom Guy is in some deep shit. Making me pistol a cacodemon is awful, but in a way it is a perfect encapsulation of this entire episode. Slough of Despair, the infamous hand-shaped map. Looks kinda cool, plays like shit. This map stuffs tiny little corridors with meat shield pinkies and lost souls designed to chip away at your ammo, the little there is at all. This clip might be the perfect encapsulation of the whole map. You slowly shoot a bunch of lost souls, and then pinkies ambush you, and then specters ambush you, and then just when you're about to leave, a cacodemon blocks your way, and you've run out of shotgun ammo. Great. Pandemonium. Not good, but inoffensive. Lots of moving back and forth trying to find where to go, and not much to say besides that. A relatively short map, but still confusing as hell.
Audio muted due to violation of copyright law. A royalty-free substitute will be provided.
Man, this beat still goes hard. Very meh map, approaching bad. Also has this excellent design choice of making me get a key to open a door to get another key when you could have designed it to only need one key. But it wouldn't be a sandy map without some novelty, right? Right? In my opinion, this is, without a doubt, the worst map in the game, followed closely by another coming up shortly. This is such an incredible travesty of level design and signposting that it belongs in the Hall of Fame of shitty FPS maps. I played this map twice to record footage. The first time took around 15 minutes, the second time I just flat out gave up. Here's the gist. There's a bunch of teleporters surrounding the center. Some of them take you to a different room, most of them don't. That's aggravating in and of itself, but what's worse is that most paths that go around this level just take you back to the center or teleport you back to the center again. There aren't even that many enemies to fight in these long, empty, boring-ass hallways. You just go back and forth and back and forth until you find something to click or enemies to shoot. And since I played this level blind, I swear to God, this level has even worse signposting than E2M4. Most of the time spent playing was trying to find the blue keycard. Now, I want you to look at this right here. When you look at this, how many ways do you think you can go? 6? 6, right? Wrong. 8. There were 2 more cubbies behind here that I didn't notice for 10 plus minutes, one of which containing the blue keycard necessary to beat the level. Fun fact, the yellow keycard they give you, red herring, entirely unnecessary. This is just a dull, boring crapshoot of a creation that isn't even terrible enough to be interesting. And in my opinion, if your creation is boring, it's the worst. 0 out of 10 map. Why did you do this, Sandy? Oh yeah, the BFG. It's kinda cool. A big fucking gun capable of shooting a giant green plasma ball that deals damage while simultaneously firing 40 invisible lasers from your face, dealing massive damage to anything it comes across. This thing can clear roomfuls of low-tier enemies with a single shot, and is as such extremely rare and consumes a ton of consumes a ton of plasma per shot. Still, an excellent weapon for its purpose and one of the most venerated guns in gaming history. I highly recommend you watch the Decino video to get a better idea of how it works. Mount Erebus is okay. The combat is pretty good and it's got a lot more to look at than the previous map. Also, our first introduction to the famous fire blue texture. This is a giant, open level that took me ages because the exit door is hidden in this tiny little corridor that you wouldn't think a million years would lead to the exit in the most wide open map of the game. I was so stunned by this during the recording that I froze. Ugh. Yeah, hello? Yeah, it's Carbine. Yeah, I got something I need to ask of you. So, I'm doing this whole video project thing. Can you help me do this voiceover? How much? 100? 50. Come on, 50. 75. Okay, man. 100, fine. Just please say every word correctly, okay? It's the least you can do. Alright, thanks, man.
EM37, Gate to Limbo. The penultimate level of Doom, the one that you play before the final boss of the game. This map is just impeccable, containing the largest fight in the game, with leagues of demons swarming from every direction, requiring nothing but the utmost Oh, just kidding. This map is not only awful, it has the worst example of switch hunting this game has to offer. The entire gimmick of this level is that it has an assload of damaging floor areas and even a maze with some anti-ratsus just haphazardly thrown in there. Not in any of the other areas that you have to step on damaging floors to reach. Just the maze. Enemy count 36, less than a third of the monster count in central processing. A map from episode 1. I killed all the monsters in the first 4 or 5 minutes, and the rest was doing a lame-ass teleporter puzzle above even more damaging floor, and it was 10 minutes of me just going round and round before I just decided to give the fuck up and use cheats.
The final level of Doom. The encounter with a final adversary.
I can't even fucking fake it anymore. Just roll the clip. The loathsome spider demon that masterminded the invasion of the moon bases and caused so much death has had its ass kicked for all time. A hidden doorway opens and you enter. You've proven too tough for hell to contain, and now hell at last plays fair. For you emerge from the door to see the green fields of Earth, home at last. You wonder what's been happening on Earth while you were battling evil unleashed. It's good that no hellspawn could have come through that door with you. Doom was an event. It was the synergy of two Johns, a genius coder who created a revolutionary engine, and a game designer who knew how to make a game fun. As much as I complained around the last half of the game, I enjoyed playing Doom because the core is just so solid. The enemies were designed well with excellent sprite work, the textures by Adrian Carmack are gorgeous, the sound design is great, everything just clicks. Every FPS game that came after Doom but before Quake was called a Doom clone, and for good reason. This one game brought so much innovation to the world of video games, it deserves its position as a landmark in gaming history. However, it isn't without its faults. As I said, a lot of this game felt thrown together, and that's because it was. Again, Sandy Peterson made 2/3 of the game's maps, and he came into the studio 10 weeks before the game was finished. The levels are often mazy and confusing, the fights aren't varied enough because there simply aren't enough enemy types, and the bosses are disappointing to say the least. Except the Cyber Demon, of course. So, should you play Doom? Maybe for historical purposes, but not if you want more fun. The reality is, Doom is an above average game even nowadays, but the modding community has made so many levels and custom campaigns that completely eclipse the original's quality that it's hard to recommend just Doom 1 on its own. Doom 1 is genuinely obsolete nowadays. Wow, what a great video. I'm sure glad it took 2 months and most of my energy. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video, if you've made it this far. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, all that stuff if you want to. And I hope to see you all in the next episode of the Carbine64 show. Oh shit, I forgot! The secret maps. So E1M9